him and put the 20-euro note in his hand and said, "Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you." He looked at me, and I don't think anyone had ever said that to him. He had a tear coming down his eye as I'm about to, remembering what that moment was like. And I want to say to you, that was the last time that I ever had a judgment towards anybody who was out there trying to get something from me. Whether it's a waiter, whether it's the person coming into my hotel room to clean my toilets, and I'm always in a state of appreciation and seeing them as a saint. I remember with Mother Teresa being in the radio studio with her in 1989 in Phoenix, Arizona, on station KTAR with my friend Pat McMahon. And he was an Irish Catholic, and he was just so excited to have Mother Teresa in his room, and I was about to be interviewed, and he said to Mother Teresa, he said, "Is there anything that I can do for you?" And she said, "No." She said, "I'm just here to promote the homeless shelter where I'm staying." He said, "But Mother Teresa, we have a 50,000-watt station here. We could raise a lot of money for your mission in Calcutta." And she said, "No, I'm not here to raise money for that." She said, "I just want to talk about the homeless shelter to the people of Phoenix." And he said, "But Mother," he got down on his knees and he had his headphones on. And he said, "Mother Teresa, please, isn't there anything that I can do?" She was about 4'10", a tiny little thing. She said, "Pat, you seem so serious." She had a real heavy accent. "You seem so serious." Sit up. She said, "There is something that you can do for me." She said, "Tomorrow morning, get up at 4 a.m. and go out onto the streets of Phoenix and find someone who's living there who believes that he's alone. And you convince him that he's not. That's what you can do for me." It's that place in our hearts that we have to be able to go to. And I tell this story now about the Turkish man in the urinal on September the 30th, 2012. I tell it because it changed my subconscious programming and allowed me to be more like what Deepak wrote about here. The creative source of everything is in us, but the creative source in everything has no judgments. It has no criticism. It has no condemnation towards anyone at any time. And when you catch the thought first and change the thought, very often you think, okay, I won't do that again. But it's when you recognize the behavior that's a result of the thought and you're willing to change the behavior, then you anchor in a new internal self-image, which says, I no longer judge people who are asking for something. So if somebody is standing on the street corner with a sign on saying, please help me, I'm homeless, you don't have to give them any money. But you also want to be very careful about not having any judgment, criticism, or condemnation. You can give them a silent blessing and move on. And that's how you change your subconscious programming. If you do it enough, before long, it becomes your way of being. Your way of being. And after that, my daughter, Serena, who just gave me our 9th grandchild, who wrote, Don't Die With Your Music Still In You, my experience growing up with spiritual parents. She wanted to put weird parents, but she put spiritual parents. She wrote a letter to me, which I'm going to share with you. If I can get through it. She said, Dad, Today I sat behind you in Ephesus, Turkey, while you gave a lecture for a few hundred people who had traveled from all over the world to hear you speak. I was overcome with emotion as I saw you standing there fulfilling your dharma while touching the lives of so many. I know you as my father, but you have always been a teacher to me as well. You have taught me that the solutions to all of life's problems are inside of me, and that I only had to go within and be silent and present, and know that as well. You never told me how to live or what to think or what to believe in. Instead, you showed me how to make each day a prayer and each word a word of love. You taught me about Rumi and St. Francis and Hafiz and Jesus and Buddha and Krishna and Muhammad and St. Germain and Neville and so many others. You taught me to believe in magic and miracles, and you showed me how to be in awe of the awesome world we live in. Since the time I was brought into this world, I knew that I was safe to be exactly as I was, and that whoever I was, that I was a perfect creation of God. You told me that I was God, and that it was God that looked out from behind my eyes. I learned from you that I was the master of my own fate, the creator of my own destiny. Of all the lessons I have learned, the thing that hit me the hardest was when you said that I am God. Could I really be a spark of God, a perfect creation, put here on earth with a purpose? You say this all the time, but I've always struggled with it, especially since school and society were telling me otherwise. I doubted myself, I felt inferior, and I worried that I needed to apologize to something for even contemplating this idea. I have felt unworthy, undeserving, and unsure. Although you gave me great tools, I still had to figure out how to use them on my own. Now I understand that God is love, God is beauty, God is truth. You told me I came from an infinite space of perfection and that I will return to it one day too. Slowly, I'm beginning to understand. People love you so much, and yet to me, you've always just been Dad. You drove me to school each morning, you taught me how to swim and ride a bike, you read my stories, and you came to all of my plays. As I've grown, you have encouraged me to trust my inner callings and go after whatever it is that excites me. You believe in me, Dad, and I love you so much for that. What do you say to someone who gave you life and then showed you how to live it? You say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. That's what I want my children to learn, and I